Good morning, good morning. Welcome to episode 23 of the Home Front. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to jump on. I'm running a little bit late today, but I just wanted to make sure I got this episode in today. Today I'm going to talk about who is Krista Campbell. That's me, and I'm going to kind of just tell you a little bit about myself because I don't think I've really shared it with anybody, and I want to make sure you know who I am. Please make sure you hit that like button, love button, or share. Tag a friend who you think may benefit from this one. Usually I come to you every day with information about the real estate market. What's up, Tiffany? Thanks for joining. But today I'm going to talk about who I am. I'm going to say 29. We know I'm not 29 years old, but I'm 29 and holding, and I am a single mom who has worked pretty hard to get where I'm at. I was thinking probably a couple weeks ago where I'm just like, I haven't accomplished what I want to accomplish. But at the same time, I had to go back and think about what I have accomplished. Good morning, Lori. Thanks for jumping on. I've accomplished quite a lot for where I'm at in my life. Like I said, I'm a single mom and I have 2 master's degrees. That was something that I worked very hard for. I would say I started off at 17 in my corporate career, and I had no education other than high school experience. So it was not an easy start, but what I did is I worked really hard. I decided at some point in my life, good morning, Ben, thanks for joining. What's up, Nikki? Good morning. I decided at some point that I was not going to be a victim of my circumstances, and I didn't have a life plan. I was told from a young age, you're going to get a job as soon as you graduate high school and you got to go. So that's what I did. I got a job and I started working, and I decided, I would say a little bit later when I was working my way up, because I started off as an admin temp agency right away, got a job and moved out of the house at 17 because that's when I graduated. I decided I'm never going to accomplish my goals with a high school education by itself. That is like your basic training of life, and I need to do a lot more. So I put myself through school and I was able to obtain my 2 master's degrees. I thought at one point I wanted to get my doctorates, but I decided it was time to cut it off and use what I had. I had done enough done enough education, and that was when I decided to stop putting myself through more degrees, because how many do you really need? You just need to get where you want to be. But I've had 2 main inspirations that are my friends. When I met a friend of mine, Christy, back, I think it was 2007 or 2008, I met her. And I saw what she had accomplished. She had purchased her own house by herself. This was before she got married. And I thought, man, that's what I really want to do. And I had to really evaluate things. But I did eventually purchase my own house by myself a couple years ago. And I felt like that was a great accomplishment. But I want to go back and tell you a little bit. I'm going to give you a little bit of highlights of my life. At 17, like I said, I moved out and I got my first corporate job. At 19, my dad died at the age of 48. One day he just dropped dead of a heart attack. It was one of the most devastating things that happened to me in my life. And I really went through a period of being upset and angry at God for taking him away from me. But at the same time, I knew that I had to use that to fuel me forward. My dad wasn't able to see my daughter. He wasn't able to see me get married. And those things, I felt like at some point that fueled me to change my eating habits and really figure out how I wanted to be healthy. Not just because of the way I looked, because I had gained more weight than I wanted to, but also healthy on the inside. Actually eating, not health, but I would say wellness. This is something I learned the other day. Not health, but wellness. Because you can look good on the outside, but that doesn't mean you're healthy on that inside. And that was one of the things that changed and made me really evaluate. 48 years old, dying of a heart attack. Let's see. At 23, I had my daughter, which that was another milestone, obviously. That made me walk away from some things that I had been in and make me, she was watching me. she's going to model everything that I do. So I made sure from then on that I did things that I would want her to do. Now, I still made some mistakes. Obviously, I'm human. I'm not perfect. I go over this every day, but her being born made me realize that I needed to change some things, and I didn't want her to repeat them, because we are essentially, at a young age, we are a sponge. We absorb everything that we see. So I made sure that I wasn't in an unhealthy relationship. Now, like I said, I have had some growth experiences, but that was, for me, a changing point. I wanted to make sure she doesn't see me doing things that I don't want her to do. So I have to really take things in. When I'm doing things, I want her to know the same thing. Like, this isn't something you do. Hey, Jose, what's up? Thanks for joining this morning. So those are some lessons that I've learned. But this morning, I had another wonderful experience. I didn't want to get up. I did not want to go running, but I got up this morning and I pushed myself. The only thing that stands in our way is ourselves. So I had a million excuses. And Jose actually told me the other day, can you tell me the name of that rule, Jose? It says we have 5 seconds to make a decision, or our mind makes the decision for us. And I used that this morning, because after 5 seconds, your mind is going to start telling you all these things, and will have made the decision. You'll come up with a million reasons why not. So you just have to kind of push yourself and say, get up. And I went running. I hate running. I absolutely hate running, but it makes me feel amazing. When I'm done, I feel like I've accomplished something and I've pushed through it. It's the same thing with fear. There's been so many times in my life where I've had fear, and you just kind of have to face it. I try not to procrastinate the best I can. I kind of just try to do it, because the more I think about it, the more it just makes me more anxious. It really, like for example, if I was going to get on Facebook Live and I was nervous about it, I will think of a million reasons why not to, because I'm nervous, I'm not ready, and I will think about it so much that my heart starts racing. I get all this anxiety. So I just have to do it. And if you do it, if you just push through it, you're going to feel good about yourself. And that's pretty much what I think my life has been. I feel like in my 20s, I was completely oblivious until I hit I'm 29, but we're gonna go there. When I hit my 30s, I started learning, and I really started paying attention to what the heck is going on around me. I've always felt like through my career, because I've done everything. I've been an admin, I've been a project manager, I've been a project analyst, I've had multiple businesses, and I could never figure out exactly what I wanted to do until a few years ago. I mean, I had my real estate license back in 2005, 2006, but it just wasn't the right time for me. And then I decided I was going to get it again in 2013, which I did, and I've been growing my business since then. And it's been great. Every year has increased tremendously. This year I expect to be amazing. But basically what I'm saying is I've always had the desire to do something more than I was doing. And until I figured that out and I actually started learning and actually started following people online that had the same mindset, and you really are a product of the people that you surround yourself with. Now, mind you, they're virtual because they're not here. I'm not hanging out with them on a daily basis, but I do surround myself with people that have positive attitude, that have the same goals that I have, and they just keep pushing. They do the same types of things that I'm doing, because I need that motivation sometimes. I don't feel like getting up and working 15 hours a day, but I do it because I want to accomplish more. And I heard something the other day that really, really made me change my mindset. It was someone I was following on Facebook. She's very successful. She said that you're not trying to get wealthy for you. You're trying to get wealthy for all the people that you can help, which really blew my mind, because it's not about you. What you're doing, you want people to do better. At least I do. I want to see people do better. I want to help them accomplish more things. So I'm not trying to do this for me. Essentially, at the bottom, I'm trying to do it for me, and I'm trying to do it for my daughter, so she doesn't have to go through all the things and the hard lessons that I chose to go through. But I want to help other people as well. I don't want other girls to have to face the situations that I've faced, and I want to make sure that I can spread that information. So I don't want to be selfish with all my lessons that I've learned. I want to share it with everybody. And if you don't want to hear it, you don't have to listen. But at the same time, I want to share everything that I have and that I've accomplished, so maybe somebody else can learn from my mistake and cut their learning curve, and you don't have to go through the same thing. Because I used to think, okay, well, I don't need help. I can do this all on my own. This is when I had my daughter. I was like, I'm Superwoman. I don't need anybody to help me. But not until recently have I really learned that it is a village, and I understand what that means, because she's not just going to have influence from me. We don't live in a bubble. We don't live by ourselves. We are surrounded by humans. Whether we want to interact with them or not, we're surrounded them and they influence us. So you can't do it on your own. No matter how hard you try to shelter your child from the outside influences, they are going to be influenced. There's so much access to social media. It's crazy. So all those things, she's going to have the outside influences, and you really have to surround yourself with the right people that can help boost you up and boost your child up, and make sure that they're taught by the right people. Because if they're surrounded by the wrong people, they're going to have the wrong influences, and they could totally go left field. As long as I'm doing what I need to do, I also need to be responsible and make sure that I'm not around unhealthy people as well. And that's where my mind has gone and the lessons that I've learned. I'm not Superwoman, but I'm not going to stop trying to be. I'm trying to be a better person every single day. I try to make sure I learn something new, because if we're not growing and learning, we're dying. And I'm not going to be stubborn and set in my ways, because there's so much out there that I haven't accomplished. I recognize that in myself. I have to keep pushing. And there's one other person that I want to talk about. My very good friend, Tiffany. She is an amazing person. She has inspired me, whether she realizes it or not. I don't know many people who have accomplished some of the same things that I have, but she's come up from pretty similar circumstances, and she's getting her doctorate's degree, and I think she's an amazing woman. She jokes about having 27 and a half kids, but she really loves from her heart, and she really pushes to be the best person she can be. She's a lifetime learner. She has really, really accomplished. I'm not going to share her story because that's hers to share, but she's a true inspiration for me. She's taught me how to love when I didn't want to love, and she really makes me think sometimes. And I know that she truly loves my child the way I love her, the way I love her. And that is something that just people don't do. People don't love your kid the way you love your kid. And I want to touch on that. When my dad died when I was 19, I call this other man my dad now, because he was in my life since I was 1. He was my stepfather at the time, but he really loves me, and he'll do anything for me like I'm his daughter. So I don't call him my stepdad, I call him my dad, and he's been there for me. And he's another one that loves like you're his own blood, and he has the biggest heart. And these are my inspirations in my life. And I just wanted to share a little bit about me. I don't think I've really talked to anyone about, my story and how hard I work. And I just want you to know who you're interacting with, basically on Facebook, who you're following, and some of the things that I believe and what's inspired me in my life. So I really appreciate you joining me. Thanks for the love. Thank you, Jose. Like I said, every day I come to you and I tell you a little bit about real estate, but today I wanted to share who I am and what's inspired me and what's pushed me. And I'm never going to stop growing. My ultimate goal is to own apartment buildings and be in control of my own economics. But if I need money, I'll just sell a building. That's how I think. I think that we can accomplish and achieve anything we want, but we have to believe in ourselves before anybody else is going to believe it. So I'm still writing my own journey, but I know that I have great things in my future, and I try really, really hard to be a better person every day. I'm going to tell you one other thing that I really wanted to go to the I really wanted to go to the 10X Growth Con back a couple weeks ago. The first one, Grant Cardone put it together, 24 amazing speakers. All the people I follow on Facebook went, and I saw them, and I was literally crying that weekend. I was sitting here crying because I didn't go. And that is my choice. I made a conscious decision out of fear not to go, and I could have gone. So that is my own what's the word I'm looking for? Not acting, but I didn't act. So just not acting and sitting here and saying, I can't do it right now. I decided not to go. I'm going to make the decision. I will be at the GrowthCon next year. I will be meeting all those wonderful people that I know on Facebook. Thank you, Jose, for sharing. I really appreciate it. But the inaction, that was the word I was looking for. Inaction is also something that we do. We are victims of our own creation. If we decide not to act or we decide to act, we've created our own environment. So we can only be a victim of ourselves and our own action or inaction. So keep that in mind. I do talk, there's some of my friends who call me and ask for advice, and I was just talking this morning. I know we're going, you're going to be there too. What's up, Michael? Thanks for joining. But just a little bit about me, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And like I said, anytime you want to reach out to me for questions or anything that I can help with regarding real estate, please feel free. If I can help you in any way, I'm on all the social mediums, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, obviously. So I look forward to working with you guys and getting to know you. So I will see you tomorrow. Well, actually not tomorrow. I'll see you Monday. I don't do the show on Sunday. I'm headed out to open houses for the weekend. So I will talk to you later.